Hey guys, welcome to a brand new episode of Connect. I'm Nikhil Chinapa, and today we've got a very special guest on the show who's going to talk to us about careers in crypto. Now, the common misconception is if you want to participate in the cryptocurrency world or on Web3, you've got to buy some tokens, you've got to invest, but nothing could be further from the truth. To give us all the information and gossip about what you can do in the world of crypto and how you can build a career in it is my good friend Siddharth Menon from WazirX. Siddharth, welcome to the show, man.
Thanks, Nikhil. Thanks for having me here. Really excited about this, and it's a very, very interesting topic.
It is a super duper interesting topic because you know what? We've seen this on roadies over the years. The three things that the youth of India, actually the youth all over the world care about. Number one, will I fall in love or will somebody fall in love with me? Okay, always. I mean, yeah, you always think about romance. Number two, do my friends think I'm cool? Do I wear cool clothes? Do I have a cool bike? Do I have a cool phone? And number three, man, will I have a good career? Will I have a good job? This is one of the questions that has always troubled and been of concern to youth across the world, and India is no different. So, opening question to you is very simple. Is the only way to participate in the explosion that's happening in Web3 development to buy cryptocurrency? Tell us about it.
Absolutely. So I think there's a lot of myth. I keep talking about opportunity in Web3. The whole cryptocurrency space that's happening, and a lot of people think, okay, you know what? I want to start my career in Web3, and I'm going to create an account on WazirX. I said, hey, that's not a mandate. Buying a token is not a mandate. There are tons of things that you can do to just get started as a career in Web3.
But trading is just one of the things that happens in crypto. There's an entire career that can be built in crypto, right? In the
Absolutely.
entire cryptocurrency space, in tokenomics, in the development of projects. Because I kind of see this like what the internet was like in the late 90s when software engineers realized that you could build an entire career and do really well in companies like Google and Microsoft, and all of these companies were setting up shop. Lots of people from India went across to America. But right now, you don't need to go across to America. You can be wherever you are in the world and build a career. But is crypto only for techies and software engineers?
No, definitely not. I mean, this is a big misconception. People think I want to get into Web3, but I don't know coding. No, everybody comes with a lot of different skills, variety of skills. If you're into writing, editorial, there's so much more possible options for you, to contribute to this Web3. There are so many complicated concepts, but you want to sort of simplify it and tell the world, okay, hey, this is what it is, right? This is the awareness of this is how things work. And techies can't do that really well. Even guys like me, I can't do it because we are in a way already a complex world. But when we talk about normal people, they don't understand these things, and there has to be somebody who's able to translate this, simplify it, and tell the world. And there itself in last, I think 2 or 3 years, I can see explosion in the editorial world where people are able to consume this, understand this, simplify, and tell more people. And there are many verticals right there, even in the editorial space.
But so tell me something. If someone is studying in the IT space, if someone is a techie right now and they want to explore a career in Web3, how do they start? Where do they go? Which project should they work with?
I think it's a very interesting thing. See, everybody comes with different backgrounds. Some people just want to learn the tech side of things. Like if it's a blockchain, like I want to write code in blockchain, and that's what excites them. You just start reaching out to projects. Just tell them, hey, I'm this guy and I want to learn. Can you give me an opportunity? And I'm telling you, 9 out of 10.
So, are there specific coding languages in Web3 that you need to learn?
See, it's part of all these languages are new language. It's not there since years. So everybody is just learning, right? There is no expert in Solidity, 10-year expert in Solidity or, many other Rust language and many other things.
No, my question is, in order to code for Web3, do you have to learn a different language? For example, JavaScript is a language that you use in Web2. When you're getting into working in the Web3 universe, do you need to learn different languages?
Yes. Now it depends upon which network you're part of, and this is not necessarily right. So blockchain is one side of the code, right? You still need the interface, which still needs JavaScript. If you're directly writing smart contracts, then you need Solidity, Rust, and many other languages that is there. But having said that, it's not very difficult because these are types of language. Like there is language called a script. So there is an equivalent script language in the blockchain space. and their functional languages, things like that. So it's not very hard to get in. If you really are driven by curiosity, might as well just start and do it. But like I said, it doesn't stop there. There's, you still probably need a Java background or a Python background.
So that was my question.
Something else.
If somebody's a software engineer right now, without learning anything new, they can embark on a career in Web3.
Absolutely, that's what I'm saying, right? It's a myth that you need to know this and only then you can start Web3. There are so many projects who are in Web3 are hiring Python developers or maybe hiring a Java developer, and it depends upon the problem that they are solving. Not everything is decentralized. Some parts are still a mix between a bridge between Web2 and Web3.
Yeah,
and
there's still a lot of back and forth and transitioning happening. Yeah,
exactly, exactly. And going ahead, we see that it will always be a hybrid model till it becomes a complete only blockchain model. So it'll take time, but this is the opportunity, right, where you can be in that transition and learn a lot, by the way.
Right now words like Bitcoin, NFT, DAOs, they're becoming very commonplace, and a lot of people have this misconception that in order to participate in the cryptocurrency space or in Web3, you need to be an investor or you need to understand just these specific places or these specific spaces. What I try and tell people is think of the entertainment industry or the film industry. Acting isn't the only job there is. There's also makeup, there's costume design, there's camera person, there's a director, there's the assistant director, there's a line producer, there's a producer. There's an entire universe that exists behind that one person that you see on screen acting. Is Web3 similar? I mean, is the token, is the coin, is the trading just the tip of the iceberg? And what are the other careers that you can build in Web3? From HR to business development to marketing?
Very similar. You just nailed it, Nikhil. You just nailed it. Because we are talking about an industry. We are not talking about one technology here, right? It's an orchestra which comes together and builds something, right? It's music to your eyes, but there's collection of things that happen in the background. So when it comes to career, if you are a trader, obviously there's so much potential right there. Trading for the project, trading for many people, or in general, there's a whole career. Wall Street is built on trading, right? Just there, it's known for its trading. So similarly, you have that space. Then the very important space a lot of people don't know, and it's a very big void that people can fill, is economics. Okay, now what Web3 sort of brings
economics.
To the economics, yes.
It's something that half the country is studying economics. Yes, okay. Tell us about economics and crypto.
Yes, absolutely. See, because all the Web3 components, right, when we talk about the heart of the component is an incentive model, right, which is an economic incentive model. Why I would work for somebody else. So why I go to a job because I get paid. But now I can contribute my time to the entire network and the network pays me. Yeah? It's a different concept, right? But to do that, you need these economics in place, right? Where there's a structure in place, where there's an incentive program in place, and people are just getting into it, with the economics background, are just nailing it because they can see through it, where this can fail, inflation.
It must be so clear. It must be so clear to them. It's
absolutely
crazy.
And they see that. They've seen that in history. It has repeated in different forms in a country, in a state, and at a global level. Now, when they see that happening on the internet, which by itself is a metaverse, they're able to just nail it and talk about it really well. And I'm also learning so much from that, right? There's so much to be done right there. So I believe every product, when it goes from Web 2 to Web 3, the most important layer that is going to come on top is economics. The gamification, the incentive model.
Sid, it's very important for us to stress right now that Web3 is at the same point where the internet was in the early to mid 90s. It is just the beginning.
Absolutely.
We've had 25 years of the internet since then, and we're at the beginning of our Web3 journey. So guys, if you have a background in economics, in human resources, in computer engineering, in business development, if you have an MBA, all of these careers have a space and a place in the Web3 world, in cryptocurrency. But the important question is, how does one start? I'll give an example. There's a cousin of mine who was studying law, and then in the final year of his law degree, he got very interested in the event management space, and he started working in an event management company and didn't finish his law degree. At that point in time, I told him, I said, man, just finish your law degree because everything in the event space is slowly going to move towards contracts. And you're going to need a background in law to be able to really nail that aspect of your career. He's done extremely well in event management and he's now moved to a position which has a legal aspect to it as well. And he called me the other day and said, man, I wish I'd taken your advice and finished my law degree because you were right. Everything now is moving to legalities, contracts, understanding nuances in that space. So for somebody who's working in any field, how do they get into Web3? How do they start their journey there? How does a lawyer start? How does an HR person start? How does a guy with an MBA degree start?
Right. I think the law example is so perfect. I think probably when I was doing Web2 products, right, I never used to find lawyers interesting. I know they're doing a very interesting job, they're debating, but I never used to get involved. We are techie, nerdy guys. But now when in the Web3 space, you realize how important their roles are, because Web3 is a lot about compliances as well, right? So we are techies, we know how to build code, we know how to do this, X, Y, Z. But one thing that we don't know is you're not breaking the law, right? And you have to be within that framework of things. And this is where these people with law background are in high demand in Web3. And they don't realize it, by the way. People have realized it. Yes, people who have realized it, they're going big. But people who are now coming...
Lawyers are in high demand in Web3?
Absolutely, because techies don't understand compliance. What you think is very easy. You think, okay, I transfer the money to him and then transfer it back to me. As a coder, I would say, okay, this is it. It's that simple. But from a compliance point of view, it may not be, right? And these are small little things. So I think a very good example, right? So you were just talking about the internet, beginning of the internet. What was happening? We were talking about, okay, books coming online. Every business was thinking about how do I go online, right? That was the thing. Yeah. It was like just Web 1. Here, everybody's thinking about how to go to Web 3. It's a similar story. But now, back then, all you needed was a tech co-founder, right? You'd have a business background, but you need a tech co-founder to help you actually build the tech. Now you need a tech co-founder, you need actually a compliance co-founder, because compliance is such a big thing, because it's stressed so much there. And then obviously the economist and every other role. But even from a lawyer point of view, there's so much there, and whenever I meet somebody who is in law, I keep telling them, get into this space.
Wow. So putting it in a nutshell, a Web3 company or a cryptocurrency I'm calling it cryptocurrency right now, but a Web3 company is like any other company. You need a CTO, you need a CFO, you need probably a CEO, you need somebody in HR, depending on the size of the company and how many employees you have. So all of these sort of what you call regular careers have a space in cryptocurrency. It's just a question of you being interested enough to get into it and then taking that first step to making that happen.
Absolutely. This is where we are right now, by the way.
So what is that first step? What is that first step? Do you just call up a company and say, "Mere ko kaam karne ka hai?"
See, we are so early in the space that these things are not organized well. And I'm telling you, people are looking for, talented folks. First thing what you should do is go through all the interested projects that you believe, is interesting for you. Just, either pick up a phone, or just email them out and start a conversation. In fact, today you can just tweet them out, right? It's as simple as just a tweet. Tweet them and tell them, I am interested in this project. I would love to work with you guys, right? As simple as that. This is my background. That's it. And you will definitely see somebody coming back to you and probably, getting into the whole interview round. And you never know, within a month's time, you're already there.
Let's also touch upon a small but very important point right now. And I think you're right. People are always looking for motivated people to work with, people who have that go get it kind of attitude and the spirit to say, yeah, don't worry about it. I'll figure it out. I might not know it right now, but I learn fast and I'll figure it out, right? And you're always looking to work with people with that kind of progressive thinking attitude. The question is, if I'm that person who has that progressive thinking attitude and I want to build a career in Web3, I'm also interested, is industry mein paisa hai ki nahi hai? In other words, is Web3 well funded right now or not? I know the answer to that, but I'd like to hear it from you. Is Web3 well funded? Can you make a lot of money building a career in Web3?
Right. I think we are at a place where a lot of people with capital have identified.
Sid, it's a simple answer. It's a simple answer. Just say it.
Yes, it's
yes.
It's huge.
Yes.
Okay, it's huge.
Web3 is very, very well funded.
Okay, so
right now.
it's big. It's big in the sense a lot of people are funding projects. It's not about you making just money, but these projects are funded well. They're being backed well, and there are a lot of people. Just it's the initial time, right? How the internet was starting, where Google was starting, and they had so much backing coming up from everywhere to build that out. So we are in a very good stage, and if you're passionate about it, this is the right time to get in, because after all, when it becomes big, it's just too difficult to get in.
In fact, I can also tell you how well funded some of these projects in Web3 are. Maybe 3 or 5 years ago, the way to raise money, if you had a great idea and you want to build out a product, was to do an ICO and to raise money through that and to get some money in, and then you part with a certain percentage of your company and use that money to hire people, to hire developers, to get an office and to start working on that project. Now, if you have a great idea, some of these projects are so well funded that they're not doing an ICO at all, because they're so well funded by investors, VCs, private venture capitalists, that there's more than enough money in this business. Am I right?
Yes, absolutely. And in fact, I won't take the names, but very traditional businesses. So these are not, they're not investing in shares, they're investing in the network, which is the token. And you will see, traditional companies who have been investing in equity and, having a board seat, everything, very carefully doing this deal, are now so flexible and getting into crypto, right? And without any board seat, without just getting into that network and believing in these ideology and thoughts. It's just crazy, right? Like the kind of fund that is coming in is amazing. People are also well funded, and because there's a need to create great products. There's a need to create great Web3 products. And everybody is being very supportive in terms of getting people. So I think don't worry about these things too much. Yes, in general, every job has risk, but I think there's a risk reward is much more here.
So we've already established that you can build a great career in crypto in various associated fields, in fields that you earlier would not have imagined could participate in the cryptocurrency universe, in metaverse, in this entire ecosystem. But for somebody who's in college right now, who's doing a degree in anything, in science, in architecture, in commerce, in the arts, you guys at WazirX have started off a course where you can take your first steps into understanding the crypto universe. Tell us about this course and how people can apply for it or participate in it.
Yes, of course. I think it's a very natural progression for us right from the beginning. The only way we think about how the country can scale to or adopt cryptocurrency is not by the price of bitcoins or price of everything, right? The right way to do that is by education, by telling them the awareness of what is Web3 and what is the possibility, opportunity, and everything around it. So we've been working with a lot of these such formats since the beginning, right? Like we've been doing college events, webinars and things around that. But now we have sort of started building more courses. Like it's just just come on board. There's a link which you can get it on the in the comments. You just go there, apply for it, and there's a course which you just have to finish, right? So I had done a course about just to enable people to come on to crypto, just a basic understanding about it, to more advanced course where whether it's about trading, whether it's about engineering of crypto, many things, right? So there's a whole course that has been designed, and it's an evergreen course. Like we've been just iterating and making it even better. So, and there's also certification, right? So if you get that certificate, it becomes much more easier for anybody who's hiring, and they just know that at least your basics, right? You know these things. And if you do advanced level, obviously your more advanced certification. And I definitely recommend everybody to get started with this, because this is the right way to come on to crypto. Knowledge, awareness is the right way to get into crypto, and not just the price.
Exactly. So guys, whatever you're doing, whichever degree you're pursuing in college or whatever academic field you're pursuing in college, if you're interested in exploring a career in Web3, check out the course that WazirX has partnered with, and the course is absolutely free. You can just log in, register and do the course, and you'll get a basic understanding of what's happening in the cryptoverse. There's one more connection that I want to draw before we wrap up this interview, and it's been a fascinating interview with you, Siddharth, is India is obsessed with video games. Kids of all ages are playing video games on desktops, on purpose-built consoles, on mobile phones. How is it that they can take their interest in video games and turn it into a career in crypto? Is there a meeting point?
That's a very, very, very interesting point there, Nikhil. So think about it. Everybody, including me, when I started getting into the computer or mobile, the first thing that we start doing is playing games, right? It's not Excel sheet. It's not my email, setting up my email address was usually games, and games is a very good way to get on board to this. And game itself is a big industry. In India it has not caught up, but if you tell your parents you're getting into building games, people our parents may not believe in it. But literally, it's a big industry. This high-paying industry, it's one of the biggest industry on the internet, by the way. So the biggest influencers on YouTube and streamers are all gamers, by the way.
Tremendous growth in all different.
Absolutely. So people now, the YouTubers, these kind of guys who have been really big in games are now started getting into Web3 games, right? And Web3 games itself has a lot more potential, because now it's not just gaming. There's also, like I said, there's an incentive model on top of it, which essentially means that you can play and earn, or you can contribute and build things. So before, games were only about you spending money. There are people who have spent thousands of dollars in the game and get nothing in return and play for hours and hours. But now the time that you spend, the effort that you do, can be incentivized for you to sort of earn. And this is where Web3 games are going towards, right? It's still early stage, but you as a gamer, just as a player, has an opportunity here. You as a game developer has an opportunity here. You as a game designer or an artist, everybody has a plethora of options to play with, right? And even streamers, for that matter.
Yeah. In a nutshell, Web3 can offer you a real opportunity to turn your passion or your hobby into a full-fledged career. Just get involved. Check out the course with WazirX. Siddharth, it's been a fascinating conversation, and I know we're going to carry on with this conversation offline as well, and I'm going to keep picking your brains. But for everybody who's interested in building a career in Web3, get involved. Do it right now. Thanks a lot, Siddharth, and thank you for being a part of Connects, and I will see you soon.
Thanks, Nikhil.
Cheers.
Cheers.